I'd like to just share insight. Korach, when he was having his kindness to Moshe, so one of his the lesson of one of his kindness was Chol ha'am kulam kedoshim. Chol ha'am, the whole nation, kulam kedoshim, they're all kadosh. Now the wording is a little bit funny. Chol ha'am, the whole nation, kulam kedoshim, they're all holy. It's repetitious. Chol ha'am, the whole nation, kulam kedoshim, are all holy. So I just want to share with you the Taz in Hilchos Rosh Hashanah. The Taz says that we say in davening, Maloich al kol ha'olam kuloi b'chvaydecha. We ask Hashem He should reign, Maloich should al kol ha'olam kuloi b'chvaydecha, on the whole world, the whole b'chvaydecha. So the Taz says, what's this lashon of kol ha'olam kuloi? It's a famous, so the words are very famous. Kol ha'olam kuloi. The songs about it. What do those words mean? It's repetitious. Kol ha'olam kuloi is repetitious. So the Taz says that whatever it says kol in the Torah, it could mean everything, the whole thing. But we have a klal that's rubai kekuloi. We have a klal that roiv of something is like you have the whole thing. You have a kais or bracha, you have to drink it. You drink roiv kais, it's enough. Why? Because rubai kekuloi. When you shecht an animal, and you have to shecht the simonim, you don't have to go through both simonim totally. You go through roiv, it's enough. Rubai kekuloi. So when we say Maloich al kol ha'olam kuloi b'chvaydecha, says the Taz, don't think we're saying Maloich al kol ha'olam b'chvaydecha, even roiv is enough, and rubai kekuloi. We say no. Maloich al kol ha'olam kuloi, the whole world, and we say again kuloi to say we don't mean rubai kekuloi, we mean the whole world. That's what he says. Whenever it says kol ha'olam kuloi, it means not rubai kekuloi, it means the whole thing, everything. So he says, and what's his raya? He says Korach, when he said over here, Chol ha'am kulam kedoshim, what was he trying to say? He was trying to fight with Moshe and say everyone is good. Everyone is good, besides Moshe. Right? Everyone was good. When Korach saying that, he's trying to say Kol ha'am kulam kedoshim is also to mafkia rubai kekuloi. That's what the Taz says. And why I'm bringing this to your attention? Because I have an aura and a lot of the Siddurim today. At the end of Hallel, we say a bracha Haluch Hashem lekech al kol ma'asecha v'chasadecha oitem v'senecha, and then we say v'chol amcha beis Yisrael. So in the old, at least the Sfard Siddurim, the girsa was v'chol amcha beis Yisrael kulam berina yodu v'yivarchu. If you look at the Ashkenaz Siddurim, in the old Sfard Siddurim, they all had that girsa. V'chol amcha beis Yisrael kulam berina yedu v'yivarchu. Today's Siddurim, to take out the second kulam. They take it out. Chol amcha beis Yisrael berina yedu, not kulam berina. They take out the word kulam, and they were obviously bothered by the double lashon. I'm not sure who decided to take it out. But if you're bothered by a double lashon, there's a reason for it. But at the end of Hallel, we want to say everyone should say Hallel, not rubai kekuloi. Everybody should say Hallel. So I'm not sure where the girsa came from, but if you have also that it says in the V'chol amcha beis Yisrael kulam berina yedu v'yivarchu, you can keep to that girsa, and it's not a mistake. That's all I wanted before we start, just to share. It's bothered me for many years already. Why? The new Siddurim are coming out, all of them are leaving it out. The old Siddurim, all of them had it. The new Siddurim, for some reason, they're leaving it out. I'm not sure why. Okay, that's an aura. Okay. In this week's parasha, we have a mitzvah that V'yem Hashem al Aaron ato v'necha v'etzavicha itcha tisha b'nei hamikdash, and then it says the Kehanim and the Levim have a mitzvah of v'shamru mishmartecha u'mishmeres kol ha'oil. They have to watch the Beis Hamikdash. The Kehanim, the Levim had a mitzvah. They had to watch the Beis Hamikdash. ולמזבח לא יקרבו ולא ימוסו גם הם גם אתם. ושמרתם אש משמרת הקודש משמרת המזבח ולא יהיה עוד קצף על בני Yisrael, and there shouldn't be a ketzav on Klal Yisrael. Now when you read the psukim over here, the Pashtus, it means the Kehanim the Levim had a mitzvah to watch the Beis HaMikdash, the Mishkan, to make sure that no Zor, no Yisrael who was not supposed to be there does the Avodah. It's their mitzvah to do it. They have to watch to make sure that the ones who aren't supposed to do it don't come. Why? Because Azar HaKarav Yumas, someone who's not supposed to be there doing the Avodah, Yumas. That's what it says in the psukim here. The problem is, you open up a Gemara in Talmud, and the Mishnah in Talmud says there's a mitzvah that the Kehanim should watch, 3 Kehanim, 21 Levim, should watch the Beis HaMikdash. And the first words in the Gemara are, how do we know that the Kehanim and the Levim have to watch the Beis HaMikdash? And the Gemara is, Amar Abaye, Amar Krav, Achoinim L'snei HaMishkan Keidmo, L'snei Oyel Moyed, Moshe v'Aharon and Bonav Shemri Mishmeret HaKodesh Mishmeret B'nai Yisrael. Where is the Gemara send you to? A pasuk in Parshas BaMidbar, when it says when they traveled, so Moshe and Aaron would stay around the Beis HaMikdash, the Mishkan, to watch it. There's no tzivi over there. There it's just saying what happened. Here in Parshas Korach it says the mitzvah, you should go ahead and watch the Beis HaMikdash. Why does the Gemara here bring a pasuk from Parshas BaMidbar that's just saying what was happening? Moshe and Aaron stayed around the Mishkan to watch the Mishkan. The truth is another much bigger question over here. The Rishonim in the beginning of Masechtas Tamid, when they say there's a mitzvah to watch the Beis HaMikdash, what do they say? What's the reason for watching the Beis HaMikdash? So says the Rosh, Shimur Zeh, this watching of the Kehanim and the Levim and the Beis HaMikdash, Eine Mishum Chishav Geneva. It's not because they were scared someone's going to come in and steal stuff from the Beis HaMikdash, from the Mishkan. You know, there was a lot of gold there. That's not the reason why you had the Shmira for the Beis HaMikdash. Ela Gzeres HaKosavu. It's a Gzeres HaKosav, the Chsiv, Vishamru. It's a Gzeres HaKosav, you have to watch it. Other Rishonim say that why is there no mitzvah to watch the Beis HaMikdash because of Geneva? Because Ein Aniyas the Mokem Ashiris. The Beis HaMikdash is a Mokem Ashiris. Rich, was nice, it was of course a fortune in the Beis HaMikdash. If you have to have a shomer to watch it, that means if something's going to get stolen, you're not going to have money to replace it. Ein Aniyas the Mokem Ashiris. We don't show poverty in a place of rich. And by showing that if it gets stolen, we're not going to have money to replace it, that's a sign of poverty. Big Chiddush in the Rishonim, they say that some Rishonim ask them that, and they say, what do you mean? A rich person has shomrim in his house to make sure no one steals anything. But everyone agrees, all the Rishonim agree, the reason for the Shemira was not because of Geneva. What was the reason for the Shemira? Says the Rosh, it was a covered Beis HaMikdash, it had shomrim there. Whole day, you shouldn't be Mesiach Das from the Beis HaMikdash. Meaning, right. That way people come in, if you have shomrim there the whole time, then it's on your mind the whole time. You're not Mesiach Das from it, you don't take your mind off it. So the reason why they had Shmira in the Beis HaMikdash wasn't because of Gnevis, and the Rishonim say it wasn't because of what the Pasuk says, because of Zorah Karev Yumas, it was because of covered Beis HaMikdash. It's a covered if you have people watching it the whole day. And what's the covered for? You shouldn't take your mind off it. You should always have in mind, this is the Beis HaMikdash, this is the Mishkan, that's why they had a Shmira. And the Goyen in Mishnayos asks, how could the Rishonim say the reason is because of covered? Ask the Goyen, the Pasuk says a different reason. The Pasuk said the reason is because of Zohar Karev Yumas. So the Goyen says, and he asks, when the Gemara says, how do you know you have to watch the Beis HaMikdash? What do you mean? It's a pasuk in Parshas Korach, and you send us back to pasuk in Parshas BaMidbar. Says the guy, there's 2 dinim of Shmira. One was the Mishkan. When the Mishkan was around, the Shmira for the Mishkan was Hazor HaKarav Yumas. That's the pasuk in Parshas Korach. Korach is saying the Mishkan, watch the Mishkan. Why? Because someone can come in and do the avoid that doesn't belong there. But he says, the Parak nearly the Parak were based on Migdash. Why? Kivit shehasha'arim misugarim. There's doors, and the doors in the base of Migdash they closed. There was no worry that a Zor is going to come in. Somebody who doesn't belong there was going to come in. Lama lishmira. Besides the doors that were closed, there was still Kahanim and Levim outside watching. It's a closed door. What are you watching it for? If you have gates, you don't have to have a guard. So they had the gates were closed, were locked, and they still had shmira outside. What was that shmira for? Says the guy, that's the Gemara's kasha. What do I need that shmira for? And then he says that shmira was, the Gemara says, from Moshe V'Aaron, the Parshas BaMidbar. From there we see that the shmira for a different reason. It's for Kavod Hashem. Kavod, to give Hashem respect, to have shmira in the Beis HaMikdash. And we'll see it makes a big nafkamina for today's days in our shuls. We'll get to that soon. That's what the Goyen says. Now, what does this mean? We're watching it because of Kavod, respect, and the Rosh Hashanah Siach Daitem Mehem. It shouldn't be Mesiach Das from the Beis HaMikdash. That's why we have to have shmira in the Beis HaMikdash. Says the Chinuch, Yisrashi HaMitzvah, why we have to have shmira? Ki b'chvoid habayis siba losais moiroi alev b'nei adam. If you have a place that you respect it and you give cover to it, and you know it's a respectable place, automatically when you come into that place, you have a little moira. You know Hashem is in this area, and you have a little fear for Hashem. When we come into that place to daven, to ask Hashem for a slicha or to help us out, if you respect the place correctly, then when you come into the place, then the hearts will become soft very quickly, and you'll be able to daven to Hashem correctly. So the Chinuch is a very interesting insight of what it means, Kavod Beis HaMikdash. Kavod Beis HaMikdash means you come to a place that you respect it, and you show respect to that place. When you come into such a place, say, oh, this is a respectable place. Automatically you think, Hashem is in this place. You have Moira, you have Yisrachachu HaLevavos, your heart becomes soft, and you are able to daven to Hashem correctly. That's what the mitzvah shmir comes from. Even though in Parshas Chukas, Parshas Korach, it says, because of a Zohar Korach you must, according to the Goyen, according to the Rishonim, we see the different din of shmira is because of Kavod HaMikdash. Now, that is all the Beis HaMikdash. How about today's days in our shuls? What's with our shuls? So, there's a halacha. First of all, I want to split it up. There's two things. There's one thing covered, to give respect to the place, and there's one thing called bezoyin, to embarrass the place. I'm not getting involved now in the embarrassing part. I don't want to get involved now in the part of what you're allowed to do in a shul, what you're not allowed to do in a shul, with all the signs, with showing of your cell phones, or speaking in shul. I'm not getting involved in that. That I think I'll leave to the rabbi, and then I think everybody can use their own common sense of things that you should not do in the shul. I don't want to get that, and that's halachas. There's a long halachas in Shulchan Aruch about, if you're not speaking in the shul, you're not allowed to speak in the shul, you're not eating the shul, you're not eating the shul. I'm not getting involved in that. I want to get involved in a different aspect. That's to a pashkat. We're not going to do any embarrassing things in the shul. There's something called kavod. Now, what does that mean? What is respect? Respect is not. I'm purposely splitting them up. Respect doesn't mean that I'm behaving correctly. Behaving correctly in a place is giving yourself understood. I'm not talking about even the streets. We should behave correctly. There's something called respect, kavod. What is that? How do we show respect today in our shuls? How do we show respect? What's kavod for the shul? What are we doing to show kavod? Maybe we don't have to show kavod. Maybe in the Beis HaMikdash we have to show kavod, and today we don't have to show kavod. So I can share with you two very interesting halachas. One halacha, which is not very known, I'm not sure why. It's a Ramah. And then we'll go to the second one, which is more known. The Ramah in Simin, I don't have it here. The Ramah in Simin Sadik Ches, I think it is, says that it's also l'nashek es benoi bebeis hamedrash. Now kiss your son in the Beis Knesset. Why? To show she'ein ahava k'ahavas hamocher. There's no love like the love to Hashem. Now what does that mean? This comes from the Rishonim. Rishonim say, I think it's I forgot what the source is.
Baby?
Any kid. It says a kid will see if it's only a kid or if it's even adults. You're not allowed to kiss. The halacha says you're not allowed to be menashe. You're not allowed to kiss your son in shul. Why? Because to show ein ahava k'havas hamocher. There's no love like the love we have to Hashem. That's why you can't show any other love in the shul but respect to Hashem. That's covered Hashem. I show that there's nothing like the love to Hashem. You don't show love to a child in a shul.
When you say shul, what do you mean, the whole building, or
we're talking Yidavin. Just the room Yidavin. Just the room Yidavin. That's as far as the question is the Shloshim considered part of the shul. For sure, the hallways are not considered part of the shul.
Beis Medrash.
Essentially Yidavin.
Well, we do both.
So that's the question. What a Beis Medrash has to do like? A Beis Knesset definitely has more kedusha than a Beis Medrash. Today, do we have a Beis Knesset or not? Upstairs officially have a Beis Knesset. There's no mezuzahs upstairs, are there?
There is.
Yeah. There are mezuzahs upstairs?
Yeah. No, it's a Beis Medrash.
Upstairs is a Beis Medrash. So there are places that they consider a Beis Knesset. There's no mezuzah there, and they don't eat there, and they won't learn there, only in the side. If it's a Beis Knesset, it has more kedusha than a Beis Medrash. But today they say our Bat Midrashim, where we daven, also has kedusha. But Midrashim also have kedusha. Maybe not at the same level as the Beis Knesset, but definitely have kedusha, and you have to show respect to them. And the Isla Nashek will be even in our shuls today, where we daven and we learn, you have the same Isla. So it says that you shouldn't be menashek as benoy. The question is exactly what does that mean? Most achronim learn doesn't mean dafka a child, anybody. If you see a friend, you haven't seen him, you want to give somebody mazel tov in a shul. You can't kiss somebody in a shul. You want to kiss him, you go outside because of respect to Hashem. Ein ahava ki ahavas hamocher. They say B'Shem Moshe, I never saw it inside, that Moshe said the only issue is during davening. But not during davening, it's okay. That's what they say. I never saw the tshuva inside, but that's what they say B'Shem Moshe. And I don't understand the reason for it. If the reason is because b'shas davening is one thing. Here is respect to Hashem. This is His makom. It's His place. It's His place whether it's during davening or not. That's one halacha that we see. There's an Indian to show cover to Beis Knesset. There's another halacha which is a lot more famous. Noyagim behem kavod. This is in Hilchos Beis Knesset. We give cover to the Beis Knesset. Mechabdam u'lerabtzam, to clean them out, to make sure it stays clean, to wash the floors, make sure it's a nice place, take out the garbage, and also v'noyagim lahadlik behem neiros l'chabdam. There's a minute to light neiros in the shul, to be mechaber the shul, to give cover to the shul. We light candles in the shul to give cover to the shul. Now, what does this mean? We light candles in the shul? Huh?
It's the or.
It's the light.
The light.
Yeah, so what does it mean? I put on a fluorescent bulb, is that enough? So the halacha was said at the times when there was no lights. So you light a candle in the shul, it becomes light. So the question is today, I turn on a light. Is that the cover for the shul? Or you need more than that? So that, most of the achronim say that the cover of the shul is to show something different. Just have a light in the shul that you can see, that's not cover the shul. And they're being a raya. There's a halacha in Hilchos Yom Tov. Hilchos Yom Tov, you're allowed to light a fire in Yom Tov if you need it. If you don't need a fire, you're not allowed to light it. Right? The tzorich for nefesh, you're allowed to light a fire. If you need it for light, you're allowed to light it. Eish is mutter. It has to be something that's tzova l'chol nefesh, that everyone wants it. That's the whole shadow with lighting cigarettes. If you're allowed to smoke a cigarette in Yom Tov, because maybe it's not tzova l'chol nefesh, but candles are tzova l'chol nefesh. Now, how about I don't need the candle? It's light. I'm in a shul. It's light. I want to light a candle when the chazan is standing. He's coming to daven. I want to light a candle right in front of the chazan. Are you allowed to light that candle? You don't need it. The candle you don't need. Yom Tov. Yom Tov. Too many Yom Tov. You want to go light that candle. Now you don't need the light. You have plenty of light without it. The case of the mechaber is, after we finish davening mincha, Everyone's going home. Everyone's going to shul. They're going home, leaving shul. Somebody wants to light the candle went out. Someone wants to relight that candle in shul. Is he allowed to do it or not? You don't need it. It's not necessary. Everyone's going home. You don't need the candle. Says the Mechaber in Hilchos Yom Tov. Umutar lahadlik afilu b'Yom Tov sheni achar mincha. You're allowed to light that candle in shul, even Yom Tov Sheni, second Yom Tov after Mincha, and everyone's going home. In those days they went home, didn't come back from Ma'ariv. The daven Ma'ariv was still light outside. You're going home, you can light the candle. Preparing for after Yom Tov. Why? The adlaka itself is a mitzvah for right then. The lighting of the candle is a mitzvah for right then. What's the mitzvah? Says the Magen Avraham, there's a mitzvah constantly to have a candle lit in the shul, even though no one's there. People went home. Everyone went home already. Yema v'layla, says the Magen Avraham.
That's like the near coming up.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. It's a mitzvah to have a candle lit in the shul the whole time. The whole time to have a candle lit in the shul. Why? It's covered. That's showing cover to the shul. You have a candle lit the whole time. Now that we're lighting the candle, we see if you have fluorescent bulbs on, it's not in the cover to the shul. Lighting the candle is covered to the shul. So now that's where a minute comes from, to have a ner tamid. A ner tamid is lit constantly, the whole time it's on, to show covered for the Beis HaKnesses, that there's a candle there lit the whole time. But the ner tamid is always electric. You don't have a fire. It's not practical and it's not safe. It's not safe. But the meaning by a lot of shuls are, especially by Chassidus places, by yeshivas not, is to light candles by the Amud. To light a candle by the Chazan, to light candles. There's davening for the Amud, you light a candle, one candle, two candles by the Amud. Where does that come from? That comes from this halacha of the noegin to light the chovid for the Beis HaKnesses to light candles. When do you light those candles? So it comes to davening for the Amud, you light the candles. That's what in a lot of shuls, they won't have the candles, they'll have like a menorah by the Amud with bulbs. Which is also for the same reason. Not for light. It's much more practical to have a light on top shining down.
Like the Beis Midrash, they have the menorah there.
Right, like I said, to have a menorah there. This all comes from Al's covered Beis HaKnesses. That's where it comes from. This is nothing else, nothing to do with light, and nothing to do with Bizayin. This is all for one reason. This is the way today we are mechaber Abba to Knesiyos, Abba to Midrashos. We keep them clean, to make sure they stay clean, and we light candles in the Beis HaKnesses. And the truth is, a lot is said about these candles, about the scholars that come through it and discuss them, and that's where it comes from. The Ner Lamor, famous thing, Ner Lamor. What's Ner Lamor? Ner Lamor came from because you want to make money. That's right. But where did it originate from? How did they think of making money from there? Because people pay to pay for the light in this medrash. Now, if I'm paying for electricity, for the electricity of this medrash, the light bulbs, you have to know if that's called Ner Lamor. Because Ner Lamor was something that's mechabed the Beis HaKnesses. If you are mechabed the Beis HaKnesses, to a certain scholar said through that. To a certain scholar said through being mechabed the Beis HaKnesses. Like they have to sell the air conditioning, whatever, that's not nothing to do with covered. There's two separate things. There's a running of the Beis HaKnesses, which is air conditioning, heating. Yeah, it's a schus. I'm not saying it's not a schus, it's a very big schus. But the schus that we always had, and that it says in the Rishonim, even the Rishonim say it.
By Korach, he said.
Yeah.
Whoever pays for the electricity.
There's electricity.
No, for the light. There's a light. And Yayin.
Yayin. And the Kiddush L'Avdallah. It doesn't say everything else. It doesn't say pay for the redoing of the shul.
They didn't have those things then.
There were other things. There were other expenses in the shul besides Ner Lamor.
The air conditioning and heating was a luxury.
Air conditioning and heating didn't have, but there was benches and tables. Right? There are other expenses in the shul.
Fixing up Siddurim.
Yeah, there was plenty of other expenses in the shul. Yeah, the Kiddush L'Avdallah. Kiddush means. But there's definitely a separate schus to pay for the Ner Lamar, which is for covered Beis HaKnesses. You want to pay for the lighting, you want to pay for the air conditioning, that's fine. But there's a separate schus, no question about it, that said about Ner Lamar for covered Beis HaKnesses. Separate thing. That means you can't do anything bizarre in the Beis HaKnesses, that's one thing. There's something called covered Beis HaKnesses, which as far as we have today, we have one thing that we know of, is the Ner, the lighting that's covered, and then there's the daily running of the Beis HaKnesses. The daily running, that's not called covered. You have to run the Beis HaKnesses. The covered is how we show respect more than the ordinary. How are we showing respect today to the Beis HaKnesses more than regular? By doing something special, covered, which in Allah is brought down there. And therefore a lot of the Achrayim, especially in the Chassidus Tshuvos, they find it even more. They say if someone donates Ner Lamar, they make Ner Lamar, he donates it, he should pay for candles. Meaning fire, not our light bulbs. You should pay for the things they put by the amud of the chazan. That is covered Beis HaKnesses. And you're going to ask, why is that better than the lighting? The answer is where we started off. Covered is the reason why we have a special respect for the Beis HaKnesses. By showing a special respect to the Beis HaKnesses, we are showing there's a chashma place over here, and when we come in, we machni ourselves to Hashem to daven. If you don't show that respect to the place, then when you come in like to your house. So there's nothing that's turning you on more to go daven to Hashem and to machni yourself to Hashem. So now that we see that's the reason, so we have to work on, first of all, the covet, the Ner Lamar, however we're going to do it. And since it's hard today, let everyone go ahead and do the Ner Lamar. Some people will make themselves crazy, and every day will make sure they light the candles in front of the Amid to have that schus of the covet. But there's other covets that you could do for Beis HaKnesses. Other respect that we could show. And whatever respect we show to Beis HaKnesses, if it leads to the hachna that people end up showing respect and davening better because of it, that is where the schus started from, originated, to have a schus into light tonight, Leil Amar. And after the kach, you see that halacha of lighting it even is a heter on Yom Tov. That's why I brought the Hilchas Yom Tov. It's a heter on Yom Tov also to go ahead and light these candles. You can't light a candle for no reason. These candles you're allowed to light. These candles covered Beis HaKnesses you're allowed to light. Even on Yom Tov we're not allowed to light anything else.
But special places they only light when there's a yard site. Or is there something?
No, that's something else. That's different candles, different candles.
No.
I'm talking about
by the Amud. Only the people who are chiyuv, they light it.
Well, anybody down to Amud makes sure he lights the candles. I don't know why it became that way. It became that by the Chassidim they light the candles, and by the Ashkenazim and by the Shivas they don't have the candles anymore.
The only kasha you have is one must.
Which side are you on?
I'm on the better side.
I don't know why it happened that way. It's a covet for Beis HaKnesses to have the candles lit, and every shul should have it.
Messy and clean, right?
It's messy. They have aces today. They have those trays. They have those kerosene ones. They you light. It's not messy at all.
Kerosene is also considered good.
Yeah, it's not different than shemen. It's not different than shemen. It's not different than shemen. You light it by the candle. You're showing. Someone comes in and you see those candles lit. You see it's a respectable place. We find the same thing with Shabbos, Neiros Shabbos. Today we don't need Neiros Shabbos really. The whole reason why we light Neiros Shabbos was Einik Shabbos. You shouldn't trip over things and get into a fight, right? Today we have fluorescent bulbs, so you don't need lights. What do we light it for? But there's no Shalom Bayis. They have the fluorescent bulbs. So if it's Shalom Bayis, then why do you have to light candles today? The answer is there's two reasons why we light candle Shabbos: Einik Shabbos, Shalom Bayis, and covered Shabbos. Covered Shabbos shows respect. When we have those candles, it shows respect. Now I want to go ahead and put two fluorescent bulbs on my table. It's not covered Shabbos. So we realize we're making a bracha here. We're making a bracha on candles that we don't need. Every Erev Shabbos we're making a bracha on candles. We don't need them. We have light without them. We make a bracha on them. How are you making a bracha on them?
Doesn't the bracha on the candles cover?
So if you're going to say it covers all the other lights, what you have to do is you have to go around the house, shining the lights. Some people do that, right?
All the lights they do?
Yeah, some people do that.
come back in.
When I got married, well, I told my wife to do it. It lasted for a little while, but that was it. So by his father. So some people do that. They shut the light, at least in the dining room. They'll turn it on, light the candles, then make the bracha. But the meaning of the world is not that way. Most people don't do that. And the reason is because the candles that we have on Shabbos is covered Shabbos. Nothing to do with Oyne Shabbos. Two separate things. So you can have a reason because Shalom Bayis that we have with the lights we have in the house, and then you have covered Shabbos. You see, the covered when you light the candles, there's a certain covered when you light candles. The same thing applies to a shul. It's not different than Shabbos.
Also, a lot of market people like candles.
Yeah. Yeah. So you see that candles is a double coverage. You go to a simcha, you have a weddings, you have plenty of lights, and in the middle of it you have a candle lit. It shows respect. It shows covered. It's a whole different thing when you have those candles lit.
Yeah. That's why you walk in with them too.
So you walk in with them, yeah. So I'm not sure why. And it's halacha. You should light neiris. It's covered for the basic Knesset. So I'm not sure where is our loss along the way why we stopped doing it. Why some places stopped doing it. We should figure out the trail over that they should have candles. Huh?
That's right. I guarantee the money will come up right away.
Yeah.
For that, the money will come up right away.
Yeah. So there is an Indian to have the candles lit.
It's a lit like a place. It's not a position. It's lit like a place.
Yeah, I'm saying. That's right. So I'm saying it ended up being a lit fish zach and a chiddush thing. The Chassidim light candles, the lit folks don't.
Around the corner from my father was got a shtibel there. Every time he goes to daven,
they light the candles. I'm not sure why it ended up that way.
You're right. It's very messy, but they do it anyway.
Yeah. The Babish does it everywhere. There isn't a thing. Anyone who's cute
Every morning they like
I said no, but he said no. They
basically, it's far.
As far as I know,
I'm not sure how we got that split, but for some reason that's the way we got the split. As far as lights candles, Ashkenaz does light candles. I don't know why.
Yes,
a lot of
probably the replacement.
Yeah. Some people have them.
When you light it up.
Right. Some have them.
You have to put funny. It's tied into those words.
Tied into those words.
So I think it's probably because they like that. They put a menorah there, they light it up, and that's their replacement for the candle.
So I'm saying some people have the menorah or replacement for the candle, and that's okay. You show them the special respect for
incandescent also, so it's like a flame.
Right. Yeah. That's what people show.
Those light bulbs that
That's probably where it came from.
Yeah, those
like these, they flicker. They look
they're
like
some of the ones, yeah.
Well, those, we have.
I was in a shul recently. Even in their Talmud, what's in their Talmud? It's a regular light in the front.
Is that a candle?
Not this. It's a regular what do they call it, pot lights. That's in their Talmud. The person walks in there, has no idea such things in their Talmud. And if all shuls are going to start doing that, then our children and grandchildren in their Talmud, what's that? They never have in their Talmud, right?
There should be something hanging.
Everyone, what is that? It's in their Talmud. It's a kosher thing for the shul. People know about it. Same thing with the front of when the person davens. If you light special candles, people ask, what is it? It's covered. This is for the shul. We're doing this for davening.